Just a few days ago, the White House was ready to impose tough investment and export restrictions on Chinese companies trying to access US technology. But now the White House says it will instead rely on legislation currently making its way through the US Congress that will not target China specifically, but all nations wanting to invest in sensitive technologies developed in the US. That legislation, called the Foreign Investment Risk Review Modernization Act, strengthens the powers of the Committee for Foreign Investments in the US, or CFIUS, giving it new powers to look at whole industry sectors rather than just individual cases.
We have the greatest technology in the world. People copy it and they steal it. But we have the great scientists, we have the great brains, and we have to protect that. And we're going to protect it. And that's what we were doing. And that can be done through CFIUS. We have a lot of things we can do it through. And we're working that out.
This, however, does not mean trade frictions are over between Washington and Beijing. On July 6th, the US will impose tariffs of 25% on more than 800 Chinese products valued at $34 billion. Tariffs on an additional $16 billion worth of products could follow later. China has already announced it will impose matching 25% tariffs on $34 billion worth of US imports to China on July 6th. But also remember, the White House is also threatening a 10% tariff on hundreds of billions of dollars worth of other Chinese imports. Nevertheless, the US-China Business Council welcomes the reversal on investment restrictions by the Trump administration, saying in a statement, the US-China Business Council is pleased that President Trump has chosen to use existing tools for investment reviews and technology export controls to manage the concerns about technology transfer to China. At the same time, we need to ensure that we have the right balance between our national security and economic interests. This latest change in US policy did not come through any negotiations between Beijing and Washington, but instead from a sometimes very public fight between its own trade and treasury officials. And because the policy from the US keeps on changing, it's very difficult for China or any other country that has trade and investment disputes with the US to make a deal. Nathan King, CGTN, at the White House.